What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another matchup from the Defense 3. This is Game 3 between Mouz and Dignitas, and this is a pretty solid series, but we're just going to take the best game of the lot because we are greedy-ass bitches. And with me is Blightwind once again. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Glad to be sitting down to do another recording with you. So I'm looking forward to this. And yeah, like you said, we just kind of went and picked the best of the games. This is game three. And as we can see from the first round of picks, it's already looking pretty fun. I mean, it's going to be another Phantom Lancer. So
Fun with an asterisk next to it. So we're going to unpause in 3, 2, 1, unpause, so it's going to be... Oops, I didn't actually unpause. Derp. 611, 612, 613, 614, 615, 616, 617, 618. You okay?
yeah,
Alright.
yeah,
Alright, so we're gonna have Mouse versus Dignitas. In the last 10, Dignitas has been 5 and 5, mostly losing to Eastern European teams and actually lost to Mouse twice in a row in the Dota Hut Invitational and in the raid called Dota 2 League. Meanwhile, Mouse has been 9 and 1, just losing to Fnatic in the Dota Hut Invitational. But Mouse have been playing sort of the easiest of the groups in the Defense 3. So this is probably one of their first main challenges in a best of 3 series. I mean, they faced Dignitas before, but, you know, with such a strong team like Dignitas, I don't expect them to take their 2 losses against Mouse lying down.
oh no, and I mean, Dignitas has definitely shown themselves that even though they don't always win, they're not like Empire where they'll be 7-1 in their group or something like that. But they definitely are a skilled team that can pull together when they absolutely have to. Um, with the recent pickup of Universe back like 2 months ago or whatever, they've definitely also shown a lot more solidity because you can definitely tell that they've been practicing a lot more, scrimming a lot more. So I'm really excited to see them play with this newer lineup. Losing Snaking, who unfortunately just had to drop out because they weren't really able to play and scrim as much as they wanted.
Yeah, I mean, the Dota 2 teams these days in the Western scene, like, if you've ever watched any of the Cupad Dragon scrims, they scrim for like 8 hours a day, and it seems like everybody does that, all the top teams. So I guess you have to be really, really dedicated to Dota if you want to do well. And of course, everyone wants to invite to that shiny TI3. But what was I gonna say? I was gonna talk about Dignitas again. Dignitas have been playing in pretty much every tournament, whether it be MLG game battles, Dota Hut Invitational, Defense 3 raid called Dota 2 League, Alienware, Plantronics, so there might be a little bit of tournament fatigue, which might be why they're not performing as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't exactly blame them either. I mean, you won't win any money if you don't enter tournaments, but kind of like you said, at the same time, you don't want to stress yourself too much. I mean, especially for some of these smaller ones where you're only walking away with maybe like $200 if you win. So it's, I mean, not bad, but hopefully they aren't too stressed out and we'll be able to see a nice, awesome show from them today.
Yep, so this is the upper bracket of the Defense 3, so whoever gets knocked down will still have a shot in the losers bracket, although it's looking very, very stacked. With Navi, Empire, a lot of really strong teams in there. Neither team wants to get sent down to there. And now I guess it's finally time to discuss picks and bans. So Mouse, Dignitas had the second pickup, and they chose a Phantom Lancer with their second choice. And just to give prior game history, in Game 1, Mouse won with the Phantom Lancer pickup. In Game 2, Dignitas won with Clinks. So in Game 3, looks like Dignitas is going to pick up the PL. But Mouse have some mechanisms in place. They have Darkseer's Wall, and they have Shadow Demon's Disruption to get some Phantom Lancer armies of their own.
Yeah, and actually, it, having one of them is definitely good because then you can match the Phantom Lancer army. But when you have them both, you have the potential to basically double the Phantom Lancer army because they will both
Oh my god, I'm getting nightmares. Three
They are
Phantom
both.
Lancer armies.
I think Dignitas should kind of. I was gonna say they should pick up an Earthshaker, and then they just wait for wall disruption, and then GG Echo Slam on double Phantom Lancer illusion.
That would be pretty sick. But, I mean, Earthshaker doesn't really give you any laning, and Dignitas already have 3 melee heroes with a Bane who's very short-ranged. Meanwhile, Mouse has yet to pick up their hard carry, so Mouse seem like they have a bit more of a ganking lineup. Of course, Darkseer scales very well to the late game, Shadow Demon does as well. But we'll see what Mouse decides to do with sort of their insurance carry. So, just looking at the pool,
Luna, that'd be my guess.
yeah, I guess Luna, Clinks, Tiny's already banned. It's gonna be in Lone Druid.
Oh,
Interesting.
and I mean, Not exactly an awful pickup. He's really good for if you want to just end the game before the Phantom Lancer can really take off. I mean, the Demolish from the Bear does tons of damage, and you can either go the Radiance route and just kind of farm up a Storm and constantly keep lanes pushed out, or just go the Mjolnir AC speed route everybody route.
Yeah, and I just wanted to talk about one more thing with the mouse. Um, there was actually an interesting article by Team Liquid detailing some of Mouse's success and the teams in Defense 3. And Mouse seems to do very well when they get Lifestealer for Black. And Black isn't really playing sort of a trademark farming carry, he's playing more of a Lone Druid who's more of an aggressive carry because he wants to push in. But Lifestealer against this lineup, keep in mind Phantom was picked up in the opening phase, as was Bane. He'd get absolutely demolished, so that's why we saw no Lifestealer pick and ban. But I guess it's time to introduce the players in the team, so we're going to have Kuroki playing the Rubik, Veda is playing the Puck, Alex is playing the Shadow Demon, Black is playing the Lone Druid, and Pos is playing the Darkseer.
And then we've got Tides playing the Bane, Fogged on the Nyx Assassin, Aoi 2000 on the Phantom Lancer, Universe playing the Magnus, and then Sasuke on the Disruptor.
Yeah, I think that's way too sexy. I don't know
Yeah,
what the Sasuke thing is.
I'll go ahead and guess, unless it's some freaky stand-in.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's way too. But just looking at the overall items, Kuroki has Boots first, Puck getting the Null Talisman, so he has some extra base damage. So already some interesting item decisions thus far, but nothing too out of the ordinary. It looks like Black is actually holding on to some gold. Maybe gonna go for a fast Midas Rush?
Yeah, that would be my guess. I mean, it's been very, very popular on Lone Druid lately. You get the Midas on the Bear for the increased attack speed, and then you just pull it off and use it to eat a creep, and then throw it back on. Allows you to speed farm, and especially if you've got that tri-lane protecting you, all it does is really amplifies the already safe farm you'll have. So it'll be interesting to see what he goes with the massive income he's going to have.
And actually, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about these lane setups, as I don't think the Phantom Lancer Disruptor or the Phantom Lancer Bane tri-lane, whatever it's set up as, isn't really the most powerful lane, so I'm really surprised the Mouse went with the Lone Druid pickup. I think they could be a bit more aggressive because we've sort of seen Phantom Lancer fade out a bit. He's still really, really, really strong, probably the strongest late game hero with the split push. But we see him fade out when he can't get the Keeper Light on his side. But in this lane, where he's pretty much by himself with some mediocre harassment supports, I'm really surprised that Mouse is actually going very passively, and I don't think this is the right way to go about dealing with the Phantom Lancer.
No, kind of like you had commented on, we're not seeing Black on his standard, like, Anti-Mage or Void or a Phantom Lancer. Someone who's going to just kind of AFK for 30 minutes and then come by with a bunch of items later on in the game. We're seeing him on a fairly aggressive, at the 17-minute mark, you want to have, like, a Radiance or something like that and just start pushing down towers. So it'll be a little strange if he's actually comfortable with playing that. And it looks like both teams are just forgoing sending their offlaners. Both of them taking some jungle, Universe jungling with him power level 1.
Yeah, I guess against a Rubik and a Shadow Demon, it would be very, very difficult for Universe to stay in that lane. I imagine Darkseer would have a bit better time since NA has revealed himself to be in the mid lane, but still, I guess never really want to die, especially against a Phantom Lancer. But still, again, I have to maintain my idea that you don't really want to do this against Phantom Lancer, leave him completely by himself, especially against AUI who will actually last to every single creep.
Yeah, like you barely want to do this in a pub, let alone against somebody has a history as being an extremely talented farmer.
I mean, this is his hero. He trademarked this hero for the Western scene.
So, I mean, we'll have to see if it ends up biting them in the ass. I imagine we'll see Pass just look to pick up a couple levels and then go to contest. Like, once he's got that level 2 Ion Shell, which he does now, maybe 1 point in Vacuum, then he'll be able to go help control the illusions. But as it stands now, Tranquils are already up, so
Glimpse sending Kuroki back with the boots first. That ward spotting him, as that Glimpse had ridiculously long range, was already level 2. But Tide's not in position, does manage to get that Nightmare off onto Kuroki, and he might end up dying. Keep in mind, he does have boots, as Brain Sap and Shockwave. Universe does pick up the first blood. Kuroki venturing very far forward, I think to probably counter ward or just ward it up. But that Dignitas ward, very nicely placed, managed to spot him out. It's already significant advantage going in favor of Dignitas.
Yeah, and I mean, again, when you're up against the let's farm forever, then destroy your team Phantom Lancer, giving up the first blood, especially to somebody like Magnus, gives him that fast arcane boots. I mean, you look, he's already only like 400 gold away from those. And if he can get those arcanes up right away and then get a Blink Dagger, the team fights are just going to start going ridiculously good. You get a good like 3 or 4 man reverse polarity on top of a static storm and then like a 3-man impale. And that's going to be weird. Like, that's going to just crush.
As looks like there's a pause coming through. Pause of Black. Some very, very bad jokes going on. Get it, Black from AY 2000. Such a comedian. As actually, just to talk a little bit more about Mouz, I think Black has been in the hospital, so even though they've been looking very strong, people have been sort of doubting them, where they've been able to scrim as much, because unfortunately Black has been in the hospital for whatever reason, so, hopefully they can turn it back around. I mean, they've already been performing very well, but yeah, I don't know if they can practice as much as they would.
Oh god, Owie. Your jokes are... Ah.
They're cringeworthy.
Yep.
Reddit.com/r/cringe. As Go When Ready is the call. So just checking out the early levels of farm. Puck actually getting man burned a decent amount by Fogged, but Fogged can't really kill the Puck in any scenario without help. And meanwhile, actually Kuroki is rotating to the top lane and just staying there to sap some experience, I guess, because it's not like he's going to get too much experience anywhere else. But still, he's not going to get too much anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess it makes sense just due to the sole fact that nobody's really looking to contest Universe does now finally TP down to this bottom lane to try and contest Black a little bit, but you don't need a tri-lane if there's nobody there to contest you, so you might as well send him to where he'll get a little bit of experience. But it looks like now they're going to try and take down this tower very early.
Yep, Universe promptly teleported in. Is level 3, so has that 2-point shockwave as well as that first point to skewer. And we're already going to see a rotation by Kuroki. He does have a haste rune. Might be able to get the lift going, but I think Universe does know what rune Kuroki has and is playing very, very safe, not trying to get himself in too much trouble. But that is allowing the tower to get pressured very early on, and this is what Mouz needs to do against a late game Magnus, let alone a Phantom Lancer in a Magnus. It's just not going to look pretty if you let it go too far.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like you said, I imagine the Lone Druid pickup was simply they want to end the game as early as physically possible. The Darkseer and the Shadow Demon gives them a little bit of potential with the illusions to hold out in the late game. But for the most part, they're going to look to end this by like the 25-30 minute mark once that Phantom Lancer just finally kind of starts coming online and becoming an absolute unstoppable force. If they've got a, good 5-6 towers down, then they'll be in at least a healthy spot they can try, contest the late game.
Yep, and looks like AUI, not indicating what he's going for just yet, actually picks up that Band of Eliskin. So maybe for a fast Yasha into Manta, pretty unconventional, as due to the Quelling Blade nerf, we have been seeing a slight upswing in terms of Radiance purchases, but usually AUI does love that Diffusal, but Boots of our Band of Elven Skin, very interesting, as this tower is definitely going to die.
Oh yeah, this tower is going down now. Shadow Demon picks up that one. And yeah, that is a very interesting one. Like you said, normally we'll see either, given absolute free farm like this, you normally will just see the Radiance pick up, and barring that, you just end up going for the Diffusal, allows you to team fight very, very early. You can shred through some of these squishier people like the Rubik, even the Puck. You tear through his mana with enough illusions, and then he can't orb away. So it's a little interesting to see him. Maybe we'll see him just go for like a Yasha, and then from there go back into Diffusal or something.
Yeah, he already has the Yasha recipe in the stash, so needs about 800 gold to finish up that Yasha, and then you'll have that. Give him some attack speed, give his illusions a bit of attack speed, but still, usually if you want to do that, Diffusal's the way to go. But, AUI plays pretty unconventionally. I mean, I'm a little bit disappointed already that he's not building up straight out of Ado Sun Phantom Lancer.
Yeah, he's definitely earned a reputation for being a bit of a crazy guy when it comes to item pickups, and it's one of those situations that it may seem a little bit strange, but put faith into him that he knows what he's doing and that he has an actual plan. He's not just closing his eyes and clicking in the shop until items, until all his gold is gone.
Yep, and just checking out the early hero levels, looks like Bane and Rubik and Shadeen all suffering. Meanwhile, the supports on Dignitas doing a slightly better job, and they are going to control Paz, who is level 6 at the very least. And I imagine if Mouz can't really try to end the game super soon, they want to get Darkseer as many levels as possible so they can maximize the walls before Valence gets too out of control. But as it is, Darkseer now in the top lane, not going to get nearly as much experience.
Yeah, unfortunately, 4 points in that Spirit Lance, and he'll just be able to spam that all day. And I mean, the Soul Ring is up, so the Constant Island Shell will help with a little bit of farm and help control the Phantom Lancer illusions a little bit. But I imagine for the most part, we'll see Darkseer kind of struggle. And in fact, we see Kuroki and Alex both up here.
And looks like Alex unfortunately reveals the fact that he did place ward there. And no detection on the side of Mouz, so they won't be able to kill the Phantom. Does AUI have a point? Yeah, he has a point in the double walk. And here comes rotation by Fada. He does have a dust of his own. The question is, will Dignitas contest this? Phantom Lancer not really the best early game carry in terms of how much damage he can put out, and Bane definitely can't really say the same, as there's going to be a Dream Coil on to wave 2. He's going to take an orb and a Soul Catcher right to the face, and there's going to be immediate teleport by Fog, who's going to go invis with the double damage, and whoever he goes on will immediately die. Fada trying to get the mana to orb out of there. Can he do so? He's going to get impaled as well as Vendetta. He is going to die, and it's going to be a 1-for-1 exchange. But definitely Dignitas came out ahead in that exchange.
Oh, for sure. I mean, letting the Disruptor die, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, he is pretty healthy for levels, and picking off their mid laner, especially giving it to your mid laner of your own, on top of it being a Nyx Assassin, somebody who, if you get that early kills, early farm, will just start blowing people up. It's definitely going to... Dignitas is looking in a very healthy spot at the moment.
Meanwhile, Universe is going to get lifted up in the air by Kuroki. Fada actually lifts the orb, interestingly enough. Did not want to commit, but here comes the teleportation in by Wave 2. Can he cast the Glimpse? No, not going to bother. He is going to use it, and here comes the reverse by Universe. They are going to kill off Fada. Disruption going to save Fada temporarily, but he is going to get down. Skewer almost helped save his life, but NA does pick up the kill. So Dignitas going to once again kill off Fada. And Puck, very, very strong hero. Doesn't really do too much damage, but very difficult to kill. And if you manage to get Fast Blink Dagger, then your team fight's going to be very, very difficult. But really, if he doesn't get out to a good start, does have some trouble in terms of recovering.
Yeah, I mean, if you put the Puck in the off lane, then generally you see the Blink Dagger delayed. But when you put him in the mid lane, you want him to get that very fast blink. Especially to complement with the Darkseer vacuum, you can vacuum everyone together, drop Dream Coil on 5, start silencing 5, and just cause absolute havoc. So the fact that he's already down 2 deaths is a pretty big deal. I mean, he does have 1 kill, and it looks like Black is farming quite well. He's about 900 gold away from a Relic. That's what I assume he's going for.
Probably. He could have had the Maelstrom if he wanted it, but probably going to be that Relic. Like you mentioned, will help quite a bit, especially against Dignitas, even though they are decently tanky. I mean, disabling that NA Spike Carapace before you can get off an Entangle hit will be quite helpful. So that is definitely something to keep in consideration, as there is going to be attempt for the middle tower, but Dignitas should be able to defend this, as I don't see much concerted effort by Mouz, considering they're just letting Black farm up.
Yeah, I mean, we do have an Invis Bane here, and the reverse polarity is back up at about 20, so yeah, Mouz is just going to go ahead and fall back. They're trying to put pressure, try and keep people distracted and split up. It allows Paz to get a little bit of farm, a little bit of experience, and allows Black to just keep on doing what he's been doing this entire time.
And actually, interesting levels, Kuroki still level 4, Shout even still level 5, Bane level 5 as well. But so far the supports on the side of Mouz is very underleveled, as it looks like Way 2 going to reveal the fact that he does have ward there. Sentry ward is immediately going to counter ward it, and that ward was essentially wasted. So Way 2 getting scouted out, was not anticipating the arrival of the Mouz supports. And there might be some pressure applied to the top lane. No, it looks pretty safe at the moment, as considering the pace of the game, I'd say Dignitas the advantage, wouldn't you?
Oh yes, for sure. Like we've said, the late game favors them. Mouz is not being nearly aggressive enough. I mean, they've only taken 1 tower in 12 minutes, and in exchange, they've been letting the Phantom Lancer just free farm whatever he wants. So he's definitely in a healthy spot. He has the Yasha picked up. He's got another 1,300 gold saved up already. So, I mean, Mouz is definitely going to have to step things up if they want to try and contest the late game in any way.
And one thing I forgot to mention is, besides the fact that Darkseer does have the mecha up, there are 4 int heroes on the side of Mouz, and there's an NA on the side of Dignitas, so that could be a huge mistake, as there is going to be a smoke attempt with that NA. Going to cast the Impale onto Black. Universe is going to rotate in with that reverse polarity. Black very tank, but unable to tank all this damage. Actually, for some reason, the kinetic field was unable to get the full duration. Here comes the teleportation by Feda, not able to save the life of Black, and actually Feda might get turned around. Now he is going to have to retreat, as for some reason Black escaped from the kinetic field, and Black is going out of the picture for the next 35 seconds, so this is really looking very, very shaky for Mouz thus far.
Yeah, definitely, and I mean, the other concerning thing is he had, when he spawns, he'll have to resummon the bear, so that's going to be 120 seconds where he'll have to be a little bit more careful as far as pushes go and stuff like that. He won't be able to just send the bear in to get free tower shots, because if they jump on it, then he'll be without a bear for a good while. We're going to see another smoke possibly on top. We do have Fogged and Tides both smoked up. So, I mean, now he doesn't really have mana for a Spirit Lance, but if they pick out, like, Alex, it probably won't matter.
And looks like AUI going to go back into Diffusal, so I guess, like you said, that Yasha and Diffusal, pretty smart build. Tower taking a lot of damage, but he has Tranquil, so he can just heal up the creep press, and as people have been clamoring for a Tranquil Boots nerf, because that is the reason why these carries have been so popular, just able to tank the creep press. And what are your thoughts on Tranquil Boots? Do you think they need a giant nerf?
Yeah, I think it's a little ridiculous that
because I think they're supposed to be a
don't
support. They're supposed to be a support item, but carries just make use of it so well.
Well, you consider it's basically a free salve that creeps won't knock off, which is the part that strikes me as a little ridiculous. I think creep, even like if it's non-neutral creeps, like lane creeps should be able to break it, so you can't just pop them and sit in the middle of a creep wave. But that's something that can be left to Ice Frog, allow him to decide what needs nerfing.
Nah, dude, we're better. We're obviously better balancers and game designers. You know, we just didn't really have it in us to, you know, take all the credit away from Ice Frog. We got this shit. As just some rotation, checking out the levels once again. At least everybody's level 6 at this point. And so what spell does Rick want to steal? Obviously reverse, Static Storm. All solid ultimates for Dignitas to be stolen. As, yeah, keep in mind when Bane gets a Fiend's Grip, it pretty much means that Rubik will always get a Fiend's Grip on his side.
Yeah, unless they, like, get a reverse onto Rubik and then blow him up almost instantly, he'll be able to steal that pretty much every single time, and that'll be a decent pickup. I mean, even grabbing something like Impale would be great. Spirit Lance isn't all that bad either. It's a good nuke and a good slow.
Yep. As Black getting close to that Radiance, the question is, what will Mouz actually do with it? As, I mean, in all-out engaging, I think the supports will just die to Dignitas while Black is just left by himself with the bear. So I'm not too sure if Mouz can actually do anything with this Radiance pickup at this point.
Yeah, that's the one awkward thing about Lone Druid is he can get himself very, very tanky and dish out a lot of team fight damage if he picks up the Radiance, allows him to just kind of run around and never die. It's quite similar to like a Weaver who goes tanky with a Radiance.
Oh, Blink Dagger Reverse is gonna be initiated. Kuroki is gonna be the first one to die. Fada does get off that Waiting Writ, unable to cast that Dream Coil, gonna get sent back by the Glimpse. He is gonna die as well. These Glimpses and Static Storms have just been giving Mouz fits as the Rain Spirit does arrive to the battle. It's gonna get nightmared as Purge going in onto Tides. That bear is still asleep. It looks like Tides is gonna end up dying nonetheless, and this middle tower is gonna be pushed, but it did cost Mouz a buyback, so it's gonna be a 2-for-1 and a tower. Not the worst trade for Mouz.
Aoi is gonna take the top tower anyways, so
yeah,
and he has Diffusal online.
But Mouz is going to sense blood. They are going to push in. Looks like Black does have that second bear up, so that's what's giving them so much confidence. And the Radiance and the Ion Shell, forgot to mention that combination as Dream Coil is back online. It's going to be able to stun off Wave 2 as Fogged is going to go invisible, going to get lifted back up to the air. Can Fogged actually escape? He is going to escape that uphill miss. Too good as Man, Fogg was able to escape, but the skin of his teeth. Meanwhile, Alex is going to get sent back. Unfortunately, nobody there to reinforce. And while all this is happening, like you mentioned, AY is just going to keep pushing the top lane.
Yeah, and I mean, he's already forced out a glyph. They do lose the tier 2, so we'll probably see some TP response almost immediately. Yeah, there you go. There's 2 instantly. And I mean, as I was saying, the lone druid, he's great as just kind of being a mid-game carry. If you get an entangle, it's pretty much a guaranteed kill. But later on, he starts to drop off because you just kind of ignore him.
Oh, ring around the Alex, gonna dodge shockwave, just gonna get mana burned. But yeah, continue.
You know, you end up being tanky enough that the Radiance doesn't really matter, and you just blow up his team. You know, the Phantom Lancer is just gonna send his illusions after like Alex, and send them after Kurokai. They're just gonna blow all of them up, and then kind of once everyone else is dead, they'll tear apart Lone Druid. It's not like an anti-mage, it's not like a Void or even like a Luna or a Sven, where, okay, you let them farm and they'll be kind of scary in the mid game, and then they can still transition into the late game. He just ends up being kind of this big scary thing that runs around in team fights, but doesn't really contribute a whole lot aside from Radiance Burn.
That's true. As usually in a game like this where Phantom Lancer is getting very powerful, I'd be like, alright, support, it's time to try to, you know, after the wards, obviously, try to save for a Ghost Scepter. But there's so much magical damage, whether it be Mana Burn, Reverse, Phantom Lance, Fiend's Grip, Brain Sap. There's so much magical damage that I don't know if Ghost Scepter will actually be the right choice. So I imagine a lot of pressure is going to have to, as always, go on this Darkseer, who always is the center point of his team in any game. He needs to get off good walls, and unfortunately, he does not yet have the wall skilled. He's only level 9.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's close to level 10, so we'll see him pick that up. Fogged does also have a Blink Dagger, so that'll result in some Blink Impale shenanigans. Any other big item pickups? Looks like we've got Universe going for a Drum.
Yeah, and actually Impale is pretty solid. I mean, 2.75 second stun in AoE. Definitely not too shabby, as there's going to be a push dent on Mouse. They want to push in. Any big items, they have the cloak up on their Spirit Bear. Puck, no dagger just yet. And level 9 still on pause, but they still want to apply the pressure, as AUI is just going to take another tower while all this is happening, saying that you can't take the tower nearly as fast as I can with all my illusions.
Yeah, it's one of those things that he can just continuously split push, and he's farmed enough that if anyone tries to stop it solo, he's just going to tear them apart. Like, they will just get Spirit Lanced. He doesn't actually have the mana for it now, but he'll just get slow put on you, diffuseled, and you'll just get torn in half. And there you go, so a whole Manta. Well, he finishes up the Manta with the Yasha he's been carrying.
Oh, reverse polarity by Universe, gonna catch him, actually drag him outside the Stag Storm. A little bit of miscommunication. Pos, can he actually escape? Gonna cast the Ion Shell as well as casting Mech. Only Kuroki is the sole death in that situation. But here comes the offense by Phantom Lancer. Dream Colt is going to be applied to 3 heroes. Looks like Way2 might be in a bit of trouble. Fada trying to do whatever he can. The Radiance Burn damage doing a huge amount of damage. Looks like Fogged is going to be the one to die as well as Way2. No, Fogg, can he escape yet again? He does do so. It's going to be a 1-for-1 engagement. And AUI just going to run away and try to apply some Phantom Lances. But unfortunately, he's out of mana. And not the tankiest of heroes.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's not at the point where he can just kind of dive into the entire team. We'll probably have to wait for him to pick up a heart, which I would assume would be his next one, just to give his illusions a lot more HP, give himself the survivability he kind of needs. Fogged is playing a really aggressive.
Oh,
Universe was there for something.
Oh my god, he tried to skewer, but the root was just too good. As I was about to say, maybe it's time for Mouse to back off because the Mana Burn is just doing work. But they did pick up a kill on Universe. Magnus is out of the picture. Does he have buyback? He does have buyback, but doesn't have reverse, so might not want to use it. He is actually going to buyback right now. The bear is going to die. Does Black have a second bear? Of course he does. As Nightmare is going to be applied. Pos is completely out of mana. No Arcane Boots in the picture for a good while. As here comes the blanket by Universe. Yet again, he's going to get silenced, as looks like Rubik is going to die once again. Kuroki is just having miserable time. Black is going to get Mana Burn, going to have so much damage applied to him. Going to get skewered forward. Will Black die right here? Yes, he is. And that is going to be the end of the Mouse push, as Alex is going to get sent right back into the waiting arms of Dignitas. As I think Mouse stuck along a little bit too long. That Mana Burn is just too good in defending sieges.
Yeah, I mean, they, like you had said, the Shockwave spam, the Mana Burn spam, and I mean, in general, a lot of this kind of poking damage is, I mean, the lone druid can kind of soak it up, but as soon as they saw that Alex was relatively low, they were able to just leap onto him. Pos is still not really all that tanky. He's got the mech, but that's about it. I mean, we probably want to see like a pipe or even like a Shivas on him at least.
Yeah, Black is going to be dead, and actually when he responds he won't have the bear. That is pretty critical. We'll delay the push, and actually might allow Dignitas to get a free Roshan. But fortunately for Mouz, they do have the dagger up on Puck finally. But still, without that bear, I don't know if they can contest this. They're going to have to try. They don't want to leave any Aegis to AUI at this point in the game.
Yeah, at this point, if you give him a free Aegis like this, he will literally be unstoppable for the next 6 minutes. He will just 1v5 your entire team, and you really won't be able to do anything about it.
As Mouz still feeling the effects of that bear cooldown, not going to be in the picture. As Dignitas might know that, that's why they're playing so aggressive. Universe very low into his HP, does have the wrist with the Blink Dagger, and they will claim the Aegis. It will be going to AUI. He's out of mana at the moment, as Mouz gonna just play it super safe, gonna stay together, probably farm the top lane, but really, it's not looking good, because now I imagine the next item for AUI will be that Heart of Tarrasque.
Yeah, and again, that'll be the item that will allow him to seriously commit to a lot of these fights. As it stands now, all he's been doing in a lot of team fights is kind of hanging around the outskirts and waiting for Kurokai or Alex to drop decently low so he can throw out a Spirit Lance and rip them apart with the illusions. But with a heart, his illusions will be so tanky, he will be so tanky that he can just dive into the entire team, go toe-to-toe with Black, and just kind of start picking apart the entire team one by one while you try and figure out which is the real one.
As a weird smoke by Mouz, they smoked up when their top tower is being pressured and nobody teleported in, and they forgot to turn the radiance off on the bear. But they are going to attempt this tier 2. Keep in mind, Black does not have a second bear up, but they are going to try. Going to need initiation onto Pos, already below half mana. Yi is going to die super fast, going to be able to pop the mechanism. Still no wall in the picture, going to get feed script, but he's going to get interrupted. Here comes the burst, as well as Stack Storm, dishing out huge amounts of damage. Fog doing a lot of damage in the background. Black trying to do whatever he can. That bear is still alive and well, as looks like the relentless tanking power of the lone druid gonna allow Mouz to pick up 2 for 1, but Kuroki is gonna die in the background. Alex is gonna die trying to get the disruptions off. Can he get his Phantom Lancer armor going? Gonna try to micro this Phantom Lancers. Will they split?
And in the meantime, Aoi just tears apart everybody. I mean, he was just kind of left to run around in the team fight. They dropped everything on Universe, even though he had already skewered, already done the reverse polarity. They killed off the Bane, but he had already done Fiend's Grip, so... I mean, they're trying to kill off people who have already done the entire purpose you picked them up for.
Well, one thing that is in Mouse's favor is there's no more outer towers at the very least, so we'll give them more map control. And, I mean, Goldcraft, even though they have 3 more towers ahead of Dignitas does have a slight goal advantage because of the 9+ kills experience advantage, hugely in favor of the Dire. And I'm not too sure why Pos is not scaling Wall at level 10. Well, he definitely will scale to level 11, at the very least. I mean, if he doesn't, it'd be a very big mistake.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I agree. Ordinarily, you see him pick up Wall at level 10, and then he gets the second point at 11. But I mean, it might have been a quick skill mistake in the middle of a team fight or something like that. Who knows? But I do believe we all do have the Reaver on the Phantom Lancer, and he's tearing apart a couple stacked up Ancients. So he is about 1,200 from finishing off that heart.
And actually, Aegis will be up for 4 more minutes, but Mouz want to push in. They do have 2 bears up with Eye and Shell. Gonna do a lot of damage, and they have that point to wall. So the question is, can Dignitas actually defend, as they do have the Magnus? I imagine if Dignitas get the proper reverse with the Stag Storm, they will be able to defend, but I mean, double bears is definitely no laughing matter, as this is pretty much Mouz's best shot without Phantom Lancer Heart in the picture. As meanwhile, Spirit Plant's gonna fly back in, doing a bit of damage, gonna disrupt that, trying to get some Spirit Army of his own. Will they be able to split? Oh man, just 3 Phantom Lancers at the moment. Still 3 better than none.
Yeah, I mean, the unfortunate thing is the Shockwave is so spammable that unless you get it in the middle of a team fight, you're Phantom Lancer armor is probably not going to last at all. It'll just get AoE down.
Yep, as Mouz continue to pressure, gonna cast another disruption, trying to get some Phantom Lancer armies going. Unfortunately, they are gonna be thwarted for a little bit. Will they split? Split! Yes! Here comes split. 1, 2. Maelstrom damage on top of it, as there is gonna be initiation in the background. AUI is out of position, as there is gonna be a beautiful reverse with the Stag Storm. Gonna immediately pick off Kuroki yet again. Black is in the middle of everything. Can he survive? This bear is just so tanky. But meanwhile, AUI picks up a wicked 6-streak. Black trying to escape, trying to run for whatever he can. Gonna get the root off onto AUI. He will be able to escape, as there is gonna get glimpsed backward by Way 2, trying to catch off the Puck, but Puck has just been doing so much work in the background. Lone Druid picks up yet another kill. Fadas, get the heck out of there. Can he Ethereal Jaunt out of there? Yes, he does. So overall, man, wasn't expecting that, but Mouz came out ahead 4-3 against a Heart Fan, or against an Aegis Balancer who at least doesn't have a heart just yet.
And it seems like they're dropping a little too much on Black at the moment. They Fiend Script and reversed him at the same time, and it was just a lot of really awkwardness. He's so tanky, like you had said, that they can't really rip him apart. They should, in my opinion, be looking to take down the rest of Mouz. If you can kill the rest of Mouz and then turn like 4 people onto Black, then you'll easily be able to tear him apart. But if you just focus the hero, he's just gonna kind of throw his hands up and micro the bear instead. Just say, fine, drop everything you want on me while I'm disabled. I'll just micro my bear and run around rooting.
And actually, Mouz that's sort of the weakness of Dignitas' strategy, where they rely on Sagstorm reverse a decent amount. Looks like Sagstorm will be up, reverse will be up very soon. But I can't really stress how important Pus, unfortunately, can't really get the walls off because he's constantly being silenced and mana burned. But he really needs to find a way to get that wall off in these team fights, and that's their only chance they can get the racks.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't drop wall in that
No,
team
they
fight,
didn't.
did they?
I think it was just mana burned and silenced and all sorts of shenanigans. Just mana burn, basically. Too good.
And I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I imagine he does have a Ghost Scepter, so maybe like a Shiva's next, just to help reinforce that mana pool. It does make you a little bit more susceptible to the mana burn, but just having the raw mana pool, we're actually going to see the bear get ripped apart. So he's going to have to go on cooldown. So for the next 2 minutes, that was a bit of a misplay, I think, by Black. He just kind of sent it in and allowed it to die.
Yeah, I mean, the Lone Druid true form might be tanky with that cloak and the armor, but the Spirit Bear with just a Mjolnir, no AC just yet, he is going to be quite squishy in comparison to his furry friend. As Mouz just going to stick around. They know as soon as Phantom Lancer sort of escapes, then the split push will start, so they just want to keep Phantom Lancer bobbed up to his base, which I guess is a decent strategy.
I mean, he's been really cheeky with firing off Doppelwalk, sending the illusion in, forcing out disruptions, and then he can, from there, safely do Spirit Lances. He does have the heart finished up, and he's got another 1,600 gold saved, so maybe we'll see a Butterfly, could be a potential, or even maybe something like an MKB.
As Dota versus a Phantom Lancer, just Siege Wars on Siege Wars. As Pus still level 11, really wants that level 12, but obviously does not want to sort of leave AUI just to free farm for a bit. As just Mouz continue to siege and Dignitas continue to defend. And meanwhile, AUI is just going to be pushing in the background, going to apply a bit of pressure to that tier 2. And he's just going to teleport back to the base, so he'll always be in the fight. And actually picks up Diffusal Blade level 2. Doesn't have buyback, but has a lot more damage.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the...
Blink in by Fada, here comes the wall, finally being casted. Is there a vacuum in place? Looks like Tides of Time is going to be the first one. Dignitas to die. AUI does pick up the tower with the illusion. As Paz can escape. Reverse play was stolen by Kuroki. Beautiful play by Kuroki as he manages to get a magnificent reverse. Gonna get off Universe and the Disruptor, but both of them are gonna buy back. And that is good for Mouz back off. Unfortunately, after that reverse, they are unable to take it to tier 3, and Kuroki's actually gonna lose his life, but still, that must give Mouz some sort of confidence.
Yeah, wonderful. That was like a 4-man reverse. And, I mean, that's the thing. Even if you're up against superior team fight, if you have a Rubik, there's always hope. If he can just steal that reverse polarity or something like a Ravage, he'll always be able to swing team fights in your favor. I mean, we still didn't see Phantom Lancer go down, so for the most part, he's doing all right, and he's just going to continue this split push shenanigans.
I didn't actually notice. Do you know if Mouse was able to get a mini army of their own, or?
I think they got a little bit of it up, but for the most part, I think it was only maybe like 3 or 4.
Yeah, I guess 3 and 4 better than nothing, as it can help burn a mana, saying, you know, tired of being mana burned, just gonna get some mana on our own side. As Alex Old 9 just checking out the items on the side of Mouse. Fada has that 4 staff as well as a blink die. Fada was actually able to survive quite a bit. AC is going to be the next item for the bear, has that plate mail in the picture, and has double bear. So this is, again, another chance for Mouse to push in.
And it seems like they're going to constantly just slam themselves against this tier 3. It is extremely low. It's 100 and, like, just over 100 health. So most likely on this next push, they'll be able to take the tower. But I think they won't be able to take Rax just because of how strong the defense coming out of Dignitas has been.
Well, they do have level 2 wall, so that can make a huge difference. 15 more seconds is definitely a pretty big factor. And keep in mind, they are preventing Dignitas from going on and try taking down Roshan.
Yeah, this is very true. I mean, Phantom Lancer's still doing a decent job. He's still managing to sneak out of the base, gets himself the army going up, and he can constantly keep this mid lane pushed out. And then he just, as he's always been doing, TP's back on home and continues helping defend.
Yep, he does have buyback. Not too sure what his next item will be, probably Butterfly. As here comes the pressure on Mouse yet again. Trying to clean down that tier 3. We'll get it with a couple more swipes of that bear. Still at over half HP, so he still has 2 bears in the picture. And Mouse just going to play it a bit safe. None of their towers are being pressured, so they're just trying to find the right angle.
Yeah, they don't want to try and rush things. They know that if they rush in, get a 3 or 4 man RP against them, that they won't be able to really hold out against it. And in the meantime, it looks like Awie's trying to be a little... Oh!
What just happened? Oh, there's the reverse as the stack storm is going to be applied up on top of it, but the mechanism was popped at the right time. Pause, can he get the wall off? Will he actually die before he gets the wall off? He's getting chain stun. Can he get the wall off? Get the wall off! No, mana burn vacuum! Oh, not enough mana for the wall, as it doesn't even matter, because 2 of Dignitas' heroes died nonetheless. Where is Phantom Lancer? He has an army pursuing him, that's where he is!
He is being chased by the army that Shadow Demon managed to pick up. He does kill off the bear, but he's most likely going to go down on himself.
This is hilarious.
They force-staff the bear forward to keep him in Radiance range.
That is hilarious. Oh my god, Shadow Demon is too good. Really strong play by Alex. Unfortunately, after all is said and done, no Rex. But they forced a buyback.
They forced a bunch of buybacks. And, I mean, they, for the most part, broke even, I would say. They didn't lose everyone. Black managed to survive still. And I think, did Fado just buy back, or did he go or did he survive that?
I think he survived that, as he did get a kill on Disruptor. And actually, if you take a look at the goal graph, Radiant have the slightest advantage. Experience graph starting to take a slight upswing, only about 4k deficit for the Radiant now. And very important is that the Bears... Oh, where is the bear? Oh, it's just healing back up at home, as Dignitas going to go for Roshan.
Bear actually has an MKB on it now, so he just picked up the plate mail, decided to go back for the MKB because he feels there was already the Talisman of Evasion on Phantom Lancer, so he figures better get the 0 miss chance up now while I have the opportunity. I can always go back to the AC because he's got the tankiness that he's really looking for on the bear.
And can AUI claim the Roshan? No, he's going to have to back off, as he's going to get outside the Roshan pool before teleporting back because he doesn't get stunned. Is there a double bear in the picture? No, not just yet, so they're going to need a strong wall. They didn't have the wall in the last team fight, but still, that Illusion Army just too good. As Poss is going to blink in with a vacuum. Wall going to catch a bunch of people. Here comes Stack Storm being casted. Where is Phantom Lancer again? That is always who my eyes are upon. AUI just staying in the background. Nice reverse, but unfortunately not going to matter too much. Going to hold people in place. Fiend Script being casted all the while. Mouse going to break the siege. Just constant perseverance, constant vigilance, and it will be able to get them back into the game. Is there another army? I'm always looking for these armies. It's just hilarious.
I don't see any of them up. I think all of them are actually Awie's illusions.
As the bear is just so tank, illusions constantly being spammed. Very unlucky for AY. It's going to be disrupted as Fogged is going to get entangled. He's going to die as these illusions on illusions action. Definitely not the best thing I've ever seen. As finally the bear is going to die, but he managed to stall enough, so he has second bear. And Mouz finally break the siege. Super surprising into Phantom Lancer. But, man, just relentless play by Mouz.
Well, I think part of it is that Mouz has definitely gone for primary initiation. You look at the Blink Dagger on Darkseer, you normally don't see that, but it's so that they can blink onto the high ground, drop that wall, get a good vacuum. The blink on Puck to get good dream coils. Like, they are constantly looking to start the fights so that they can have it be dictated on their means. They don't want to have a blink reverse polarity against them because they know that'll set things up for some huge shockwaves and a lot of Phantom Lancer pain. So I think that's the biggest thing they're going for, is constantly be on the aggressor.
Keep in mind, this game is far from over. Even though Phantom Lancer sort of stalled a bit, they're still Phantom Lancer. They're still Magnus. As unfortunately, Magnus, I don't think he's getting good reverses off, but not really the proper teammate support. As AY gonna pick up yet another Aegis, gonna go for that heart or that butterfly. That's gonna increase his illusion damage. And considering there's 2 daggers and there's a bear, it might be time for Dignitas to start focusing Shadow Demon rather than the primary targets.
Yeah, again, I say they should be just focusing on Lone Druid's team, like on the rest of the Mouz lineup. Look to tear down that Darkseer, look to tear down Shadow Demon, the Rubik, and just kind of leave Lone Druid alone. Just allow him to kind of do whatever he wants. I mean, he does put out a good amount of damage with that MKB on the bear, but you really just need to get rid of the rest of these squishy people. I mean, you look, Fada has only 1,000 health, Rubik's only got 1,100.
Has interesting level discrepancy as Lone Druid level 22, but Tube is Sports quite far behind, but still, despite that, Raiden have a slight experience advantage, as there is getting disconnected into the game. But now, judging from position, I think, you know, despite being 1 racks ahead, I think it's pretty much even at this point, rather than Mouz being ahead.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that Mouz is leagues ahead. They might have a slight advantage because they do have that 1 set of racks down, so that Dignitas constantly has to pay attention to that. But they're definitely not leagues and leagues ahead. If they misstep on their team fight and lose like 4 people for only like 2 or even 3, if they lose quite a good chunk of it, especially if Black goes down, then that'll give Aoi the room he needs to just take down, and he'll be able to basically rack it in 1 good solid push.
Yep, as MKB on the bear, like you mentioned earlier, will go through that evasion despite AUI going for the butterfly. And we'll keep in mind, illusions do get evasion, so we'll allow the Phantom Lancer illusions on the side of Dire to be a little less tanky, but we'll allow the Radiant Phantom Lancer illusions to be a bit more tanky since there's no MKB just yet. Just checking out some of the other items, looks like Fog trying to go for Hex, but Dignitas buying back a lot more frequently for Mouz, so that's why they're suffering in terms of items.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things. A lot of buybacks have been forced. I mean, Universe would probably be well on his way to a refresher if he hadn't been. I think he's bought back 3 or 4 times, or 2 or 3 times at least. Fogged, same thing. He'd probably have his sheepstake at least for the most part done if he hadn't constantly been forced to buy back. And that's where Mouz's biggest strength is they're, again, constantly keeping the aggression going, forcing Dignitas to delay a lot of these good, solid item pickups that they're looking for to secure the game.
And some people are kind of bored for sieges, but I'm actually finding this siege, like, insanely entertaining. Like, this is just, it's just really, I don't know, it's like one of those epic castle battles.
Active siege. Yeah, it's an active siege. It's not one of those normal sieges where it's, okay, well, we're going to sit on low ground, and anytime somebody kind of comes down the stairs a little bit, we're going to throw 1 spell out and wait for you to be a little bit on the silly side and try and come down to us, or we're gonna, blink in. We're gonna see actually a blink vacuum before the walls even dropped, so it's a little bit of a mistake. Paz is probably gonna go down here actually.
Oh, vacuum is in the picture. Stagstorm being casted, and like you said, Paz is losing so much mana. He's gonna die, get skewered backward. Reverse only catches Kuroki and the bear, not the Lone Druid. As here comes the blink in by Fada. It's gonna be 1 for 1 thus far, but Darkseer for a Bane, definitely worth it for Dignitas thus far, as Black is now out of mana. Keep in mind, he doesn't have anything like an Aegis, doesn't even have buyback. He's got to get the heck out of there, gonna get Arcane Boots back up, and that is cue for Mouz to back off, realizing, alright, no Darks here. Might have been a bit too aggressive, as they are just gonna back off, say, alright, wait for the reinforcements, wait for the HP. No, are they actually gonna go back in? No, they're gonna back off.
No.
Smart move.
Uh, we do see that Alex managed to grab a couple of illusions of his own, but they're going to time out pretty soon here. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like he'll be able to... Oh, we're going to see a glimpse actually on Alex.
Yep, I think he might be slightly ahead of me, but the Absorb Ward is going to spy out the glimpse. Alex is going to die. So that Absorb Ward definitely helping save the life. Shadow Demon, well, a buyback will probably respawn before any sort of action breaks out again. So not the biggest death, but still. Shadow Demon suffering in terms of gold a bit. And yeah, that is going to allow Mouz to not push in for at least another 20 seconds.
Good. I mean, good defense again from Dignitas. And I think, yeah, Butterfly is finished now, so that'll give a ton of damage to Aoi. And I don't even know what to pick up. He would pick up anymore. I guess crit, maybe?
Why did Puck go Atos?
Because it's the best item in the game.
Obviously, but I mean...
Yeah, it strikes me very much. I agree with you. It's one of those items that if you want to pick it up, you want it at like the 20-minute mark for when you're doing a lot of chasing.
Yeah, it's a chasing item. It's not really a sieging item. They're not chasing. They're sieging. They're initiating. They have Dream Coil and Vacuum and Wall. I guess this is just a very odd choice. AUI approves, obviously, but, you know, he might be biased because he's on the other team.
One of those things that if you wanted HP, just pick up like a Shiva's or even just like a casual Vit booster. You don't necessarily have to turn it into anything. You could have, I guess, gone for like a Bloodstone or something like that if you really want a little bit on the silly side. But the HP you get from it is pretty much the negligible part. We're going to see a Nightmare Bear.
Yep, Bear is going to be unable to attack the tower for a bit, but the tower not going to focus him, so not the worst thing, as the Bear is going to get stunned. Going to take significant damage, actually. If they lose the Bear here, it'd be pretty bad. It was diffused for a bit. Trying to get some Phantom Light solutions going by the Shoudian. Dire do clean up the middle tower, as AOI, again, playing no-risk strategy, just constantly staying at base, but all the while, middle tower is being pressured. Not going to go down, but still very annoying to deal with. As... Is that a resummon on the bear? It was a resummon on the bear.
That's a bit of an awkward... and again, whenever the bear is on cooldown, they can't be just this hyper-aggressive push. They can't just send it in and allow it to smack down this tower. I mean, they'll most likely just send it in quickly here to take down the last bit that this tower has.
Yeah, they can't really commit unless they get a perfect Dream Coil vacuum setup. There is going to be a surge forward by the Darkseer, trying to get in position. Gonna get the vacuum. Here comes the Dream Coil, but he was stunned actually by the NA. Can he get the Dream Coil off? No, he's silenced by Stack Storm. Nice counter initiation. Here comes the mechanism. possibly gonna be held in place. Still gonna get the wall off. NA is gonna be the next one to die, so it's gonna be a 2-for-1 thus far. The bear is still in the picture. It looks like the bear does not care. He is a bear. He does not care. Gonna siege down the racks, but Black is gonna suffer. In the meanwhile, it looks like Way2 is gonna end up dying. But overall, racks exchange for a team life. If I'm Dignitas, I'll take that any day of the week.
Yeah, and I love that as soon as you see that they got all 5, I was just like, he's just going mid, gonna push it hard, and when you have a Butterfly Manta level 2 Diffusal Phantom Lancer, towers are basically made of paper.
Yeah, keep in mind, only tier 3 remains. Shadow Demon will be alive, so there is the threat of clones, but Experience Graph, I think Golden Experience Graph mean pretty much nothing at this point, as it's very, very irrelevant. But that is going to prevent a lot of supports from coming through on the side of Dignitas, otherwise their buildings might get sieged down. So overall, it's a slight favor for Mouz at this point, but still very, very scary game. As now we're starting to see the bear die very easily. Not the hero, just the bear.
Yeah, we'll most likely see, again, maybe crit or something like that be picked up by Phantom Lancer, allow him to just tear apart some of these squishier people, and even tear apart the bear. I mean, it does have a decent amount of armor, but it up against a Butterfly crit Phantom Lancer, he won't really last all that much. 16 armor is not all that huge late game.
And Disruptor just going to stay back in the base. One pro of having Disruptor there is that if somebody tries to teleport in, just clumps them back home. But yeah, Disruptor should be okay for a bit. Not too many more buildings, but they still have relatively healthy HP on the tier 4 towers, and the Creepy Golem is very far away. So that is going to give Dignitas some time to push in. Phantom Lancer does have a lot of gold, so you can buy it back. Magnet's picking up a Ghost Scepter. These entangles hurting him quite a bit, as the bear going to get sieged upon yet again. does still have that plate mail, but still, only one bear yet again.
Yeah, it's gonna, and this is the dangerous thing. The bear is basically just a creep at this point. It's not gonna be a super scary. We're actually gonna see a brew.
Oh, a nice nightmare by the Bane, a little bit miscommunication, but here comes the reverse. Stackstorm doing so much damage. Who are they catching out? They're going to catch out Fada. Dreamcoil is not going to be in play. He doesn't have buyback. Wall is going to catch everybody. It looks like Tides is going to be the first one. Dignitas to die yet again. Illusions are running back and forth. I'm not too sure whose is whose, as it's going to be a 2-for-1 thus far. As Dignitas, oh no, Magnus, can you run? These illusions by the Radiant. Just too much for the Dire. They can't actually push in against their own hero.
Yo, I hear Disruption really, really good.
Especially with the wall. Illusions, pretty good.
And I honestly, Shadow Demon is viewed by many as a partial counter to Phantom Lancer for exactly this reason. You look at how quickly he's basically going to keep these forever. As long as he can keep hitting creeps, Alex is going to be generating gold.
Meanwhile, AC has been fished by the Lone Druid finally, so that's going to allow his bear to tank up quite a bit, and finally gives him some minus armor for the buildings, which I think is very, very underrated. But keep in mind, Mouz essentially fought that without any contribution by Puck. So Dignitas do be a bit worried by that, but keep in mind, I don't think these illusions will get as many spawn points as maybe they will. They're just going to keep spawning and actually going to do 150 damage to that tier 3 tower inside Dignitas.
Yeah, it's fairly surprising how good they are, and the fact that you can disrupt another illusion and proceed to get an army of your own is a little ridiculous.
Yep, it's just going to be illusion army spawning back and forth. Just the range is going to push in under the secure backdrop. And at this point, with the level 4 disruption, not going for the max shadow poison build, which we see so often these days, it does have 16-second cooldown, so it can be spammed relatively frequently, at least once every creep wave. And they're going to use it on a very low HP Phantom Lance illusion. Going to get 3 illusions themselves, but they're going to, unfortunately for the mouse, going to expire very, very shortly.
And we see a full data list on Aoi.
Wow, that is going to be pretty powerful.
We're actually see Fogged blink in and get immediately rooted.
As Fogged is going to take so much damage, going to come on the kinetic field. It looks like the vacuum might actually help up saving Fogged, as Lucian's going to be on the pursuit. Beautiful reverse by Universe. Unfortunately, no damage once again to back it up. Where is AUI? AUI is in the back of the battle, but the Lucian's going to start chasing down Black. Puck with the Dream Call. Kuroki steals reverse, going to catch out all the Lucians, but here comes Universe back into the picture. Going to save life of AUI for just a bit longer. AUI does have buyback, but looks like Black's bear is going to die. He's being Fiend Script to death, and Black is going to die. Unfortunately, Kuroki looks like unable to steal the Fiend's Grip. I think if he managed to disrupt that Bane, Black might have been able to survive, but maybe not. As Dignitas starting to come out ahead in these team fights, and this is just the power of all these ridiculously strong late game heroes finally coming to just a giant climax.
We see Darkseer is gonna buy back, but Black cannot buy back, and Fata cannot. So this is probably gonna be Rax.
They have to hope for a billion illusions and just kill the supports. But it's most likely going to be Barracks. The question is, will it be more than one? Glyph is going to go up. As can they? I mean, Alex is just super scared to actually get a disruption in the background. As there is going to be a skewer forward by Universe, going to catch off Kuroki. He is going to die vacuum forward, but Alex is going to die as well. AUI isolating the Shadow Demon before he can get in position to cast a disruption. Beautiful play by AUI. And this might be the end of Mouz in this game. Well, at least mean at least 2 barracks.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be 2 sets. And heck, it looks like they might even go for like the 3rd tier 3.
Yeah, keep in mind, if Black responds, cast a bear. If you kill the bear, there goes so much of Black's damage, so you can pretty much ignore him. But the wall is a factor, so Dignitas, I don't know if they should be super greedy. Looks like they are going to go in. Illusion spawning, and AUI is going to try to pick off the Mega Creeps. Pa's going to get the blink in with the vacuum wall, Dream Call, and here comes Illusion spawns for the Radiant. Fada is going to be held in place by the Fiend's Grip. Where is the Telekinesis? Unfortunately, Fada is going to die. Kuroki did steal the Fiend's Grip. Who can he actually cast it on? The bottom barracks are dying very, very fast. They are going to die. Here comes the Mega Creeps as AUI is going to get Feed Script to the ground. Does he have buyback? He does. He has to buyback right now. But that does leave Radiant a slight opening. If they can kill AUI right here, they might have a chance.
Yeah, their only hope is to do one last hard team fight and hope that they get a 5-0 wipe and can just immediately throne it. But as it stands now, most likely they're going to end up having to constantly go back. I mean, you look, even Pos has to basically sit in base and use Ion Shell to keep this all pushed out.
I think it's time just for like Lone Druid, Darkseer, and Shout even to go forward. Leave Puck back, but still, I don't know how much that'll actually help. As a smoke attempt by the Radiant. I was gonna say, the creepy Delirium, even though there were Mega Creeps, was slightly in favor of the Radiant, but that buyback AOI just gonna push the bottom wave super hard, and these Mega Creeps gonna start going to work.
I almost think that you need to, at this point, transfer some of the items off the bear, maybe the MKB and the AC, to the actual hero, just because they're focusing this bear so easily. Like, you can keep the Mjolnir, you can keep the Radiance on there just to give it some good attack speed and have it run around, counter push, stuff like that. But you want the survivability and the decent amount of right-click damage on the actual hero.
I think just get Bear like a second plate mail. No point saving for buyback now. Just get it a second plate mail, and then, like you said, put the attack speed on it, because Bear needs some armor for that Mjolnir to actually work, but still, AC and MKB probably better on the hero. As gonna be a smoke attempt. Will this actually be a backdoor? Dignitas seem to suspect something's going up. And here comes the attempt by Mouse. They want to go in. Bear is revealing itself. Centroid is going to cast it. They want to go in. Enfeeble being cast on the Bear. It's going to be hexed. It's going to die. Does Black have a second Bear up? He does. As meanwhile in the background, another beautiful universe going to catch up Kuroki, and Black going to get the shockwave so Kuroki can't steal the Brax. It's going to be massive illusion carnage. That wall perfectly placed with Fada is going to take a lot of damage. The critical strikes going on the side of the Dire. Black is going to die. He is going to die. He doesn't have buyback. And this is probably going to be GG. No, the Illusions might have something else to say. No, it's going to be GG. Valiant effort by Mouse, but unfortunately.
So Mouse gets knocked down to the lower bracket. I mean, they definitely held it up very well, but I think if they had put Black on maybe like a Luna or even a Clinks or something like that, someone that he could farm a bit more on and be a more reliable source of damage, they might have ended up being a lot safer.
I think, yeah, that was a good observation. Also, the fact that they pretty much gave towers for free when they started the siege, and also not pressuring AUI whatsoever. As you know, there was sort of a reason why we see Phantom Lights are fade out, but when you don't apply zero pressure and you don't sort of respect his split push, then you're gonna find it very difficult to actually beat him, even with some counters in the form of Darkseer and Shout even. As, yep, that's getting into this cast, so any last words, Blight?
No, not really. I mean, always great to cast with you, especially some epic, long games like this.
Always great to cast more Phantom Lancer.
Oh, of course.
As, yeah, thanks for watching, as Dignitas gonna take it over Mouse. Finally taking some revenge, but thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Peace.